there, friends. Welcome back to 3 Card Thursday. Brian Noe with you for October 14th, 2021. And it's been a while. Kind of took the summer off from doing these live streams and ready to get back at it now. So we've got our usual 3 card spread for Thursday. And I'm using the Thoth deck. Interesting 3 cards this time around. We have, first of all, they're all trumps. They're all major arcana cards. And just interesting array of cards here anyway. So we've got number 10, Fortune, in the first position. We've got 18, the Moon, right in the middle. And then 11, Lust, as Crowley styles it, over here on the right. And I like to look at these as sort of immediate past or influences that we're bringing into the current time, what's going on right now, and kind of what's to come before too long here. We're kind of looking at this as the weekend or the week to come, but it could also sort of be the start of the season, what's going on here. So let's take these cards one at a time. This card in other decks might be called Wheel of Fortune. I think it represents really well sort of what goes on in what we experience as material reality. It is the planetary trump of Jupiter, and it sort of represents change. Things are always changing. Sometimes you're up, sometimes you're down, sometimes you're in between the two, going one direction or another, but things always spinning, always moving around. And even when we sometimes lull ourselves into thinking that everything is stable, that there's kind of nothing changing in our lives, the change is happening just the same. We're really fooling ourselves when we think that. And so change is the thing that is constant in this material world. And we've certainly seen a lot of that over the past couple of years, looking back now over 2021, and we're getting towards the end of the year here in the middle of October. What has been amazing is that things never really seemed to settle down. We had all of this upheaval and change in 2020, and I think some of us sort of breathed at least a little sigh of relief when we turned the calendar over to 2021, thinking, okay, maybe things will, sort of settle down and get back to the sort of lives that we maybe were leading before the pandemic happened. But that sort of hasn't happened. I mean, we seem to have developed more or less, most of us at least, a way to deal with it and to go on living and to cope with the changes. But things kind of haven't gotten back to where we could fool ourselves really well that things have settled down. And so all of that change, and I think right now in particular, not just looking at the past couple of years, but as we have entered the autumn of 2021, I think a lot of people are feeling this in their personal lives. When our daughter went back to school this fall, there's just all kinds of craziness and changes going on there. Lots of changes in the workplace. Just seeing that all over, people feeling overwhelmed with, what's next. So that's certainly still an influence on us. We come though to the center here, and this is the zodiac trump of Pisces in the Thoth deck, and we have the Moon, and it represents being right on the cusp of something, something that is hidden, something that is just emerging, something that we can't quite put our finger on. So think about the light of the moon, and think about the light that it casts on us and the shadows that creates. Think about the shadow of the earth on the moon. that creates what we see as the crescent. Um, so darkness, but a special kind of darkness, the darkness that is forged in the light, kind of a dreamscape, not necessarily a nightmare, but one of those dreams where there's some confusion. You can't quite put your finger on things. You can't quite sort them out. Things are not quite obvious. They just seem a little weird and strange and eerie. And I think that's what's going on with this card. And we, see, of course, see the light down here about to emerge. It's about to come up. We don't know quite how that'll look or quite what it represents yet. And so I think playing off of this change that we're seeing coming into the current moment, we're just right on the edge of something, of some sort of realization, some sort of clarity, but it feels very, very strange right at the moment. And then we get over here and where we're headed. And Crowley calls this card Lust. In other decks, it would be called Strength. And it is the zodiac trump of Leo. And we see, of course, the lion there. This card, for me at least, represents an almost irresistible force or urge to create that thing down inside you that just has to come out. It just won't sit still, won't go away, and needs to express itself. And for creative people, I think this is something that we're very familiar with, but all of us have that from time to time. Sometimes we aren't as in touch with it, maybe, but there's, I think, for most of us at least, something there waiting to be born, waiting to be created, waiting to be brought out into the light of day and expressed in our lives. And when we can get a clear picture of that and a good sense of it and follow that, it's interesting how um, things sort of start moving into place a lot of times. Not always, but for many of us, a lot of times that seems to happen when we really grab onto that passion and that fire to express the deepest, truest parts of ourselves. Then the magic really can happen. And so, in the midst of this unsettling change here and the maybe eeriness and not quite being sure that we may be experiencing at the moment, we need to keep our focus on this. Keep our focus on that light that wants out. It wants to find its way into the world. And our job is to figure out how to let it express itself through us. I think that's how I would read these three. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. If you are a tarot reader and you would see these cards differently, then I'd love to hear what you think. If you're not a reader but somehow this spread resonates with you, I'd love to hear that as well. If you have got questions either about this card spread or about the tarot in general or about the Thoth deck or anything to do with card readings and all that, I'd love to hear from you as well. There'll be links below the video, and I'm pretty easy to find. If you'd like to email or leave comments on the video, leave comments on the weblog at brightblessingstarot.com. It is truly good to be back with you again. Plan to do these at least on Thursdays for a while. I don't know for sure if we will be starting back with the Sunday morning spreads again anytime soon, but plan to at least do the 3-card Thursdays for the coming weeks. So I will see you next Thursday. In the meantime, I hope that you are well and safe and happy, and we'll see you soon. Take care.